What's going on, guys? I'm going to give you a review of some Stihl power equipment that I bought a couple weeks ago. This is called the Stihl Kombi system. What you get is a power head, and I got the Stihl KM131R, which is the biggest power head that they make for the Kombi system. I also got the pole pruner, extension, the weed eater, and the tiller here. And I got the brush cutter blade. I've never owned one of these, never used one. I have other Stihl stuff. I got weed eater and chainsaw and some blowers, but I've never used the Kombi system. The reason I went with this is because I wanted to get a pole saw, and they're about $600 for the bigger ones with the same size engine as this, and that's a lot of money to spend on just something you can only use specifically for one thing. So I did some research on these, and I decided to go with this because I could have used another weed eater, so that's one of the reasons why I went with this. I've been using it for about 2 weeks now. I've cut probably 20 trees with the pole saw, no complaints with it. This engine just cuts right through it, no problem. Now, when you buy this pole pruner, it comes with, I believe it's a 10-inch bar, but it might be a 12. I'm not sure, I don't remember, but I took mine off, and with this bigger motor, it'll run a 14-inch bar. The reason I went with the 14-inch bar is it gives me a little bit longer reach, and I can cut through some bigger limbs with it. So on these big older pecan trees, there's a lot of limbs that are up high that are, pretty big size. So that's the reason I went with this. And this extension, I couldn't never find any videos on YouTube that talk much about the extension. They got two different options. They got the Stihl version, which is the version I purchased, and they also have the carbon fiber version. The Stihl version, or aluminum, or whatever you want to call it, it was about $70, and the carbon fiber I think is like $140, and there's only like I think maybe a pound, maybe 2 pounds different in weight, so it's not really enough to justify the double price. But this extension is like 33 inches long. I could never find any information on this, but that's about how long this extension is. So with it in the saw and my 14-inch bar and pole pruner, it measures 10 feet from the tip of the bar all the way to the back of the engine, about right here. So I can cut trees up to about 14 or 15 feet off the ground. So that's what I needed. So I went ahead and got that because I need everything trimmed up above 10 feet. So the tractor's 10 feet, and I need to be able to get in there with the brush hog and mow around these trees so they don't hit the cab. The weed eater, it just works like your standard weed eater. This engine really has enough power to just push it right through tall grass, no problem. Now they sell a couple other tools that I don't have. They sell a blower, they sell a hedger, an edger, and what they call like a powered scythe, which is like it's kind of like a hedger, but it's flexible. They say it's for like brush and stuff, and like weed eating around pond dams. I might get that next. Seems like it'd be pretty handy. They got a edge bed redefiner, which is like for going around trees or flower beds to redefine the edge around it to get your nice mulch circles and whatnot on your beds. And then they sell another thing that's like this weed eater. It's got a little bit different of a guard on it, and they sell it with a blade like this on it for another $100. I decided to save another $100 because this is a standard. It's pretty much a standard weed eater. So all you really got to do is get your little bar, put in here and lock this, and you can remove your string trimmer head, and you can put your blade on here. So there's really no need to go and buy a whole additional unit when you can just pay $30 or so for the blade you want. Then you buy this little blade kit deal that bolts it on. Just put a washer on it, your flat cup, and of course the nut, and it's a left-handed nut, so just put that on there and you got the blade cutter ready to go. Now, I know they probably sell it that way you don't have to sit here and switch back and forth, but as much as I use the weed eater, and I don't really use the blade a whole lot, but I use it every now and then, so that's why I decided just to get it and switch it out back and forth. But anyway, this tiller, I paid $200 for this tiller, and if I had to buy it again, I don't know if I'd buy it or not for $200. It's okay for tilled dirt that's already been tilled, or loose dirt. It works great in my garden, which is mainly what I wanted it for. And what I really wanted it for was for my hugelkultur mount. If you've seen any of my videos on it, it's basically a mound of dirt with sloped sides. Now I can get my tiller up it, my big tiller, and till the top, but I can't till the sides when a lot of grass gets in there. And this thing works excellent for that, because you can just stand on the edge and till the sides. But if you're wanting this to just come out here and say you want to just till this dirt up that's hard with grass in it, it's not going to do a very good job unless you just sit out here and work it back and forth and side to side for a while. It really works best for already loose dirt like garden beds or flower beds where the dirt's moist and whatnot. But again, it's okay for what it is, but I really don't see the reasoning of $200 for this thing. But this power head, it's like I said, it's the biggest one they make. It runs it excellent. So everything I've got here, it runs it no problem. Runs the 14-inch bar, no problem. But the reason I went with the Kombi system is because the pole pruner, which is originally what I wanted, big pole saw with the big motor, they're like $600. So I went down there, did some research, found the Kombi system, and did some reviews on it online, and decided that I could buy the power head for like $369. I could get the pole pruner attachment for $200 and then an extension for $70. So, and then they were running a special. If you bought any power head, you could get the weed eater on sale for $50. So I was able to get the pole saw and the weed eater and have two tools for about almost the same price as just the pole saw by itself. I mean, it was like, I don't know, maybe $50 more or $30 more, but you got the versatility of being able to have, you know, multiple things used instead of just one item for a large sum of money. So that's why I decided to go with it. It's very simple to use. Just basically, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. You got the arrow, you sit here and can line it up straight, push it in until it locks, and then you just tighten this down and you're ready to go with whatever you put in there, as long as that red line touches and these two arrows are in line. So really great system, easy to use, easy to operate, no complaints there. Stihl always does a good job of having stuff that's easy to operate, in my opinion. So they make great equipment. I've had other Stihl weed eater that I've had for ever since I was a little kid. I think we've been running it for about 17 years now, and I've just rebuilt it, the carburetor and stuff, a couple years ago, and it still runs perfectly fine. So I got an older backpack blower. It's like a 1999 model, and it still runs great, just fine. So I'm a big Stihl fan because I always like their equipment, and it always runs good for me when I use it. So that's why I buy it. This power head is what they call their 4-mix system. I guess that's what, I haven't bought any of these in a long time, so I guess that's what they've gone to now, which is, it's still a, you know, you still mix the gas or the oil with the gas. So, but the 4-mix, I believe, from what I've read, is now they've got an actual valve cover in here with like valves. I don't know how many. I don't know if it's 4 or 2 valves. I'd guess it'd be 4 valves since they're calling it a 4-mix, but I don't know. I haven't looked. But they do got a little valve cover here that you can remove and use feeler gauges to adjust valves if you need to. It has a little bit of a different sound than the old little 2 strokes, but overall I like it. This one really does well on fuel. I mean, it goes forever before you have to refill it. The only time it uses a lot of fuel really is with that tiller, but even with the pulse saw, it just will run for a long time. So, also, one more thing on the pulse saw is from the tip of the bar with the extension all the way to the back of the motor is 10 feet. So, I mean, you can reach pretty high with it. They've done away with the on and off switch. Now it defaults to on all the time, so you just push the button here to kill it. Still the old primer bulb, choke, start it up here. A little bit different sound than the old 2 strokes, but still does a great job. Also, one thing I want to note about this is that if you read in your manual, there's no longer a need, according to Stihl, to adjust the carburetor. These do have, if you do ever want to adjust it, make sure you pick up a wrench that's like a 4mm Allen head. A little Allen head screwdriver to fit in here, because they've done away with the Phillips screws for the carburetor. So if you ever need to adjust it for some reason, but they say in the manual that it's preset from the factory, you should never need to adjust it. But I went ahead and ordered a tool off Amazon just in case I ever need to. It's like a couple dollars, but that was one thing I noticed when I got it. When I looked at it, I was like, oh, those are different screws, but they still got the LA idle adjustment, Stihl Phillips, and they say that's the only one you ever need to adjust. So other than that, great system. If you're thinking about buying one, I'd recommend it to anybody. Stihl's a great brand, so if you're thinking about buying the Kombi system, I'd buy one because it's really versatile and there's a lot of different tools that you can buy for it, and I'm sure they'll probably make more tools eventually. But hopefully I can get a couple more. I want to get the edge flower bed redefiner. I could make some use out of that. And also I want to get that powered scythe for mowing the brush and stuff, like brush saplings and stuff for around the pond dam, keeping it looking nice. But if you have any questions, comments, if you want to see any of this stuff work, if you want to see the tiller, how it works, or the pole saw, leave a comment and I can make some videos or of me using it. No, it's not going to be great because all you're going to hear is the engine running in the background, but if you do want to see any of that, let me know. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and thanks for watching.